Hi, this is Jin Charles Companion with the KiOui apps. So on this page, we're going to set the default global preferences. So what are those default global preferences? Basically, for a repricer to work, it needs to have an item to reprice, first off. It needs to be turned on for this item, and it needs to have a rule on how to reprice, and it needs to have a minimum. We will see that later in a later video. So what those global preferences here are going to do is they're going to help the software know what you want to do and if you want to set things automatically. So let's look at those settings a little bit. The first one that we're going to have is if the repricer is on or off by default. By default, we recommend that you leave it off, especially if you're new, so that it automatically just stays off. You could potentially turn it to on, and if you have the right SKU and the right set of information at the right place, your items would just go right in the system and automatically reprice. But for now, we're going to leave it to off. What is the magic slider here? Faster sale and higher margin. So this slider here is going to help influence our repricer to see if you want to have higher margin, which means that you're not going to win the buy box as often, but you're going to make more money, or if you want faster sales, which means you're going to win the buy box more often, but the price are going to be more competitive. So, you could be a little bit here if you want faster sales, but just, not being all the way down, or you could be here if you want to be more on the higher end. Again, those are default settings, and you will be able to customize those settings per items. So for now, for me, I leave it as faster sales because I have a lot of SKU and I want my inventory to be moving. So now, to calculate the minimum in the application, we also need to know your profit goal, your default profit goal. So this default profit goal here is a percentage of the cost that you want to make as a profit. So let's say I buy something for $10. My default profit goal is to make $2 on this item. And this will help the repricer calculate the minimum or help guide you to figure out what the minimum is so that you can so that we can then reprice your item. So again, this profit goal here is a percentage of the cost. So if you want to double what you pay for your item, if you want to double what you pay for your item, for example, you would put 100% here, meaning that if you buy something at $10, you're going to want to make $10 on it, which probably means that it's going to have to sell for something like $25, maybe $26, so that you recuperate basically out of $25, $26 minus Amazon fees, you're going to recuperate about $20, which would be the double of your cost. So in my case, for example, if I buy something for $10, I want to basically have in my pocket that returns $12, which would be $2 profit, which would be this 20%. Okay, now let's look at active repricing rule. So for the repricer to actually reprice your item, it needs to have a rule or an indication on how you want your items to be repriced. Again, this is just a default here, which means that it's going to be set for you for your new items, but you are able to change this on every single item. And because the repricer is off by default for every single item, it won't turn it on automatically. So let's look at the rules that we have. First off, we have KeyMagic. So what is KeyMagic? KeyMagic is the name of our application. And really what KeyMagic means is that instead of having a dummy rule, we have an algorithm in the back that will actually do all kinds of smart things. So KeyMagic is our smart algorithm in there for repricing. Basically what it's going to do is it's going to look at the landscape, it's going to look at how old your item is, what the sales rank is, what your competitors is, if Amazon is there or not, and it's going to set a price to try to win the buy box based on the slider here. So let's look at the other options that we have. If you do not want to use our algorithm base and you want to have more control, you might want to pick, for example, follow the buy box. In this case, this is going to be a little more not as smart algorithm, if I may say, and it's going to basically look at what is the buy box right now, and it's going to follow it. And if you have the buy box, it's going to stay there, because obviously you can't reprice, to win the buy box if you already won the buy box. So it's going to reprice and match the buy box, and if an item is $5, the buy box is $5, it's going to put you at $5. If the item is at $10 buy box, it's going to put you at $10 for the buy box. Now, let's say that you win the buy box at $10, then it's going to stay at $10. And then you're going to sell there up until you lose the buy box and we start competing again. If you want to be a little bit more on the higher side, you could follow the buy box plus 1% or plus 2%. If you want to be very aggressive and race to the bottom, you could say follow the buy box minus 1 cent. So it's always going to try to pull to the bottom to try to follow the buy box minus 1 cent. And it might go down and go down and go down all the way to the bottom. Now, I will explain what the bottom is a little bit later, but this is basically why you have a price minimum or minimum price here, so that if you say that your minimum price is $10, even though you have a rule here that's going to go down and go down and go down, we will never go below $10. This is to stop it. Now, key magic or algorithm here is smart to detect race to the bottom, for example, and try to, avoid races to the bottom. However, if you go with follow the buy box minus 1 cent, we're going to be aggressive and we're just going to follow the buy box minus 1 cent. If the buy box is you, we stay. If it changes and it becomes $2, then we're going to go $1.99. Unless your minimum is $10, which we're going to go back to $10 and never go below this minimum. Okay, so now we have another one, which would be follow the lowest price. So you could have some merchant fulfilled, for example, that might be a lot lower than you, and this is even more aggressive, and actually will follow the lowest price, which is not necessarily the buy box. So this is a very aggressive price rule. You could also follow the lowest price within the same fulfillment network. So if your items are at FBA, you just want to match the lowest FBA all the time, regardless of what the merchant fulfilled is, then you use that. If you're merchant fulfilled and you always want to match the lowest merchant fulfilled, you use this rule. Liquidate is kind of like this follow the buy box minus 1 cent, except that it might go minus 2 cents, 3 cents, and minus $1 to basically get your item out the door. This will push you to your minimum as fast as it can to try to get your item out the door. All right, so now we have item cost calculation here. If you put at the end of your SKU your cost in the form of a number dot two numbers, so like for example, if you buy something for $10, this would be 10.00, we're able to find that cost at the end of your SKU and automatically enter it into the system, which then helps you guide information into the system. If you'd rather have your SKU end in a number, simple number without dots, so for example for $10 this would be 1000. You can select this rule, and if you're in Europe and you'd rather have a comma in the middle and put 10,00, you can select this rule here. Now, minimum price calculation. For your item to start to get repriced, it needs, like I said, it needs to be turned on, it needs to have a rule, and it needs to have a minimum. You can disable this, for example, and then you would just have to enter the minimum manually. You can also choose key magic. Key magic, once again, it's an algorithm-based rule, which will actually try to be smart, and it will take the cost that is entered here, it will take your percentage here, which we will calculate all of the Amazon fees and find a good minimum for you. So KeyMagic would be the smartest algorithm to try to calculate this number. Now, if you have your cost entered, you might want to put 1% lower. And what this 1% lower is going to do is it's going to take your current price that you have at Amazon, and it's going to put the minimum at 1% lower than your price at Amazon and set that up as the minimum. Same thing with 2% lower. It's actually 2% lower of your current price on Amazon when we import the item. Match the buy box would be, again, when we import the item, it would match the buy box. It does not keep matching the buy box. It does it one time and then set it for you. It could match your current price that you have at Amazon to be your minimum, or it could be 1% over, 2% over, or your cost plus your fees plus your margin. Those are different rules that can automatically set your minimum. You can also in the application set a maximum. Right now, we automatically set the maximum to no limit, or it could be disabled. In the future, we might add some rules here. I basically suggest that you leave it to no limit for now. And then stay logged in. This is basically if you want the application to stay logged in so you don't have to keep logging in. Once you have your settings like this, and mine are going to be KeyMagic, and I always put the cost at the end of my SKU like this. So I'm going to click Save. Choice have been saved, click OK, and now we're good. We can move on to other parts of the applications.